where I've got barbecue sauce on my face. Amazing. Amazing. There we go. It's now gone. Episode 46 of season 4 of The Paper Thing with me, the Broken Bottle Boy, here on Twitch. You will notice that the backdrop is different today. This is because I accidentally deleted the previous backdrop in a wild attempt to clear some space on my computer. So there we go. A new backdrop will be developed shortly. So I'm sure you'll be waiting with bated breath for that. But in the meantime, it's a full paper show today ahead of tomorrow's newspaper special. Magazine special. Let's get it started. Do you know what? I've been put off my stroke here slightly by having to talk to a trampolining place about Kid in the Room's forthcoming birthday extravaganza this weekend. But I'm now here. I'm ready for the show. And we're going to start with The Sun. Front cover of The Sun front page of The Sun is absolutely ridiculous today. It is Harry Kane somehow dressed as they think made him look like Michael Caine by sticking some glasses on him. Hi Sankamai, how you doing? Yes, it's a very cursed background. It's the cursed temporary background. It's the image from today's newsletter, which is about Marcus Mick violently threatening the trampoline place. Trampoline place are great. I love to spend £95 on trampolining and various hot dogs. It's the dream. Do remember the newspaper fund, paypal.me/conquest of the useless. Keep me in trampolining and hot dogs. Anyway, here's the front page of The Sun. Top corner is Love Island special, Shannon's shock exit. Would it be Love Island if there wasn't a shock exit? And the main story is, my name is Harry Kane and we're going to do an Italian job on Ukraine. Just embarrassing. An embarrassing front page, I think, for everyone involved. Apart from perhaps Harry Kane himself, who has had this forced upon him. Hey, studying fangirl, good to see you. I enjoyed the Pope chat yesterday with SK the Crusader, and good to see you, SK. Mark Gnosis, hope to God the hot dogs are after the trampolining. I believe so. Think is it a shock exit if there's always a shock exit? This is the kind of philosophical question we deal in here. Yeah, another timely reference from The Sun of a film from the 1960s. SK the Crusader, extra embarrassing given how shit Harry Kane has been. Yeah, The Sun doing its absolute best. It couldn't avoid mentioning Raheem Sterling in positive ways directly after the game, but now it's back to just focusing on a white player. Right, let's get inside. On pages 2 and 3, Captain's Pledge ahead of Ukraine-Euros clash. We want to keep giving the nation as much joy as possible. That starts again on Saturday. The Queen is going to be meeting with Angela Merkel just days after England's win. It's completely unrelated. And the Sun is in its campaign about chilled meats is now saying the Sun salami hairdo. Hello Freeze768. Yeah, are we going to get some anti-Ukraine xenophobia? Maybe a Crimea River headline? Yeah, bound to be. A naked fan has sprinted down the street after England beat Germany. The headline, 3 lions and no shirt. That is actually a criminal offence. Hey, bad motivator, or should I say, value subscriber, bad motivator. Elsewhere, we've got wills you get out of my Beck's snap. David Beckham and son Romeo's Wembley selfie is photobombed by a couple of royals. Literally, they're just in the background. They're not photobombing it in any real sense. On page 7, Margot's a Robbie dazzler. Margot Robbie is in vogue. Queen meets with Merkel. Hey everyone, don't forget we won the game. Yeah. Now I can't get the image of the Queen yelling in your face at Angela Merkel out of my head. Well, Slinker, I could see it happening. Page 9, turns out that one of the people who abused Chris Whitty was an estate agent and he has been fired. The headline from The Sun, Whitty Yob loses his job. As if The Sun isn't in any way responsible for encouraging this kind of shit. On pages 10 and 11, Model's prediction after Island shopping. Shannon, you haven't seen the last of me. I bet we have. Various other Love Island things. I've not been in Love Island here. Guybrush Threepwood, photobombing means just being in a picture now. Yeah, words have ceased to have any meaning. Words just mean whatever the Sun says they mean, effectively. On page 9, Harry in the Air Team. A very bad pun on Ed Sheeran's A-Team song. He popped up to an event where they were launching a floral tribute to his mother, and Harry met Ed Sheeran. I'm sure he was delighted. Surprised they didn't go down some sort of ginger line. Binging on takeaways doubled in lockdown, says the Sun. Again, this is just more like encouragement of eating disorders, encouragement of unhealthy relationship to food. Of course, people had more takeaways during the lockdown. And then, so what? On page 15, back in Balearics, the first British visitors to the Green List, Mallorca and Ibiza landed yesterday. And, of course, the Sun found 3 blonde ladies to put in there. Autumn booster jabs for the over 50s is a big story today. The Sun only shoves it in on page 15, but it's front page news for other places. Mercy Muroki, of course, now has long-time Sun contributor, now a GB News presenter, asks, why wasn't George in his England shirt? She headlines another side thing, stop trans kids. That's very bleak. I'm not against people transitioning. Letting trans adults live their lives in peace is fitting for a civil society, but pumping puberty blockers into children is an abdication of responsibility. Just fuck off. And then at the bottom of it, because it's these issues are complicated and nuanced and whatever, but you don't get that here. You just get, oh well, just wait till they're adults. And at the bottom of the page, Rod Liddell is away, which is always a nice phrase to read. She doesn't like Love Island because she's tired of people saying there's racism in it. There's definitely racism. Prince George is a child she doesn't know. Donald Bain, old man, wait till they are adults before you give them puberty blockers. Yeah, I know. Guybrush Tweetgood, Turf Island keeps on giving. Yeah, African Asylum Centre is tough, but not as harsh as dying in the Channel, says Mercy Morgan. Again, the Sun has not learned from the days of Stig Abel or changed from the days of Stig Abel where he was just waving through Katie Hopkins's cockroach column. On pages 18 and 19, Bake Off's Candice Brown, turmoil after her marriage split. It's been the hardest, most horrible year of my life, but cooking's got me through it. Whenever you see stories like this, you've got to know that the Sun has been putting pressure on, saying, we'll write horrible stories if you don't cooperate and tell us about it. On page 21, Sci-Fi Becomes Reality, a story about the flying car, which is ridiculous. It did. And then the Sun says, movies did it decades ago, except they're made up. Fucking hell. On pages 22 and 23, Lady Gaga went outside. Kim Kardashian wore some shorts. Nick Grimshaw has quit Radio 1 for good. What terrible news. Rishi Sunak's got a new dog. The dog is called Nova. It's a fox red Labrador. Manufacturing consent with Rishi Sunak. Bradley Walsh is now worth 20 million quid after raking in 12.5 million pounds more for his TV work. That puts him ahead of Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield in ITV's Big Earners. Yeah, you did miss the analysis of the hideous front page, Johan, but rest assured, you can guess what I said. 20 things you need to Shevchenko know about the Ukraine. Honestly, this shows you the level of intellect that the Sun assumes its readers have. 1. Ukraine is the second largest country in Europe. 2. Gareth Southgate's side will have to watch out for danger man Oleg Zinchenko, 24, who's won the Premier League 3 times with Man City. 3. Ukraine's manager, Andriy Shevchenko, beats Southgate in the fashion stakes wearing Giorgio Armani suits made by his Italian fashion designer pal. Mila Kunis, it has Ukrainian roots. She left the country aged 7 when her teacher mum and engineer dad decided the country had no future. 5, the biggest sporting stars in Ukraine are former heavyweight boxing champions Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko, who are brothers. Vitaly, who was never knocked out in a professional bout, is now mayor of the capital, Kiev. 6, Ukraine's president once starred in a TV show as a teacher who unexpectedly becomes the country's president. The comedy actor then turned politician, was caught up in a scandal with former US President Donald Trump, who tried to pressure him to investigate Joe Biden's son Hunter. The nation is responsible for the greatest pole vaulter of all time, Sergei Bubka from Luhansk, who broke the men's world record 35 times and was the first person to clear 6 meters. Bond girl Olga Kurilenko grew up in poverty in the city port of Berdyansk, having to share a flat with 4 relatives and her single mum. After moving to Moscow at the age of 15, she became a model. There will be split rivalries in the Resident Evil household, with star Mila Jovovich hailing from Ukraine's capital, Kiev. They keep having to say that just in case Sun readers have forgotten. While her director husband, Paul W.S. Anderson, has his roots on Tyneside. Jovovich's family left the Soviet Union when she was 5. The country has the most unusual tourist hotspot, the entombed nuclear plant in Chernobyl. Joseph Stalin's policy of selling Ukrainian farm produce rather than allowing locals to eat it was blamed for the 1932 famine, which claimed 3.9 million lives. Some believe the communist leader was punishing farmers who opposed giving up their land to the state. There's the Sun there giving you its view on Soviet history. 12, Ukraine once had the 3rd largest arsenal of nuclear weapons in the world. 13, Ukraine has been described as the 2nd poorest country in Europe. Described as, it either is or isn't. And 60% of the population live below the poverty line. The average yearly wage is £7,000 compared to £31,000 in Britain. In 1922, Ukraine became one of the founding republics of the USSR and the communist state's 2nd longest serving leader, Leonid Brezhnev, he of the excellent eyebrows, was born in Ukraine. During World War II, the country lost 1.6 million military personnel and 5.2 million civilians. No, they died. They didn't get lost. There are 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Ukraine, including the green and gold domed St. Sophia Cathedral in Kiev. It's part of the Monastery of the Caves, where around 100 monks still live. Women get ahead with flower power, sporting woven headdresses with colourful blooms. You might spot a few fans wearing the Vinok on Saturday. Wayne Rooney scored the winning goal when England defeated Ukraine in Donetsk during the group stages of Euro 2012. Ukraine were co-hosts with Poland but failed to qualify for the knockout. 19, never mind the vuvuzela, Ukraine has the world's longest musical instrument. The horn or trombita would drown out the pipe that proved to be so annoying during the 2020 World Cup in South Africa. And finally, if Ukraine lose on Saturday, their fans can drown their sorrows with horilka, which is similar to vodka. The national drink is 40% alcohol and is sure to offer an even deadlier hangover. There you go. I'd like to see the Ukrainian Sun's version for the UK, to be honest. Exactly, Friar Bentos. Mark Kenosis, the Holodomor genocide issue is still an active and thorny historical debate, but I'm not sure I trust the Sun to report on it. Yeah, Friar Bentos. The UK is famous for beef eaters and jellied eels. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dua Lipa is ardently against the Ukraine for their anti-Albanian stance. 31,000 sounds fake. Well, there's a lot of people earn far below that average. The new frame is just a temporary frame because I accidentally deleted the other one. SK the Crusader. The UK is famous for nonces. Moschino hopes its latest hot dog dress cuts the mustard. It's part of its Resort 2022 collection, and it will have wearers asking, do my buns look big in this? It's a woman dressed as a... God damn it. It's a woman dressed as a hot dog. Yes, exactly, SK. Average salary is different from median salary, which is a better measure. They've got another story about Princess Diana because, why not? On what would have been Princess Diana's 60th Our Man's tribute, Arthur Edwards, creepy royal photographer who you may remember was part of Prince Philip's plan for his funeral and allowed to hide in a fake pillar during it to take pictures. In the TV Catherine Tate's got a new show coming out. Today's recommended show is Extraordinary Twins, part 1 of 2. Also, Big Dog Britain, Channel 4, 10 p.m. While smaller breeds such as French Bulldogs and Dachshunds have surged in popularity, some of the bigger breeds, including Danes and Irish Wolfhounds, have fallen out of fashion. But some owners still can't get enough of humongous dogs, and we meet them in Big Dog Britain. Among them are Mark and Emma, who spend their life cleaning their house of slobber thanks to 5 beautiful but dribbly Newfoundlands. That sounds good. SK the Crusader in there with a good TF deep cut, famous for posing with Daddy Sugar. In Deirdre's casebook, Naomi is still having mixed feelings about her lesbian affair. In Fab Daily, they get one of their writers to try the new TikTok hair trend, which is basically just getting yourself Diana hair. Markinosis UK is home to Ukraine's national hate figure, Milo Edwards. Yeah. Locked away. What really happens when the cameras are off in Love Island? They talk to various former Love Island stars, waxing each other's bikini lines, coconut oil to stop shaving rash, secret hair masks when the cameras are off, pseudocreme to prevent spots, makeup is discouraged during daytime, highlighter and moisturizer, Saturday nail and lash appointments, the tans are all fake, there's a free beauty stash, boys use shimmer oil to look toned, the boys get hair trims, and there are makeup artists for the finals. There you go. There's all the secrets. I'm sure you were desperate to hear about those. Right, today's £50 letter comes from David Evans, who writes, "What a terrific night the England versus Germany game turned out to be. The whole nation was willing Gareth Southgate's men to do it, and the Lions did it in style, with goals from Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane roaring them into their quarter-finals." You're writing a letter, not a news story. "I'm so proud of the whole England setup. The players, the manager, the supporting cast all gel well and must be seen as favourites to win now that some of the big guns are out. I just hope we can beat Ukraine on Saturday night. Come on, lads, you can do this." Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's that. Sales of sun creams and fake tan products have surged at John Lewis thanks to Love Island returning to TV, claimed John Lewis in a press release that The Sun has reprinted largely, in fact, completely uncritically. Incredible coin news. Incredible coin news. Coins?
No coins.
What? Firstly, I got the notification yesterday that the coin is coming. The Philip coin is on its way. But secondly, we've got another coin that we could get. The Princess Diana, the Diana Princess of Wales coin. Yours for just $9.99 features a picture of Diana Princess of Wales on one side and her definitely not assassin, the Queen, on the other. Just yours for £9. They say to celebrate the special place that the People's Princess still holds in the nation's hearts, this beautiful photographic coin has been officially issued. By whom? Why, the Westminster Collection. It's the first in a series of 12 limited edition coins. Get this coin, then get more coins. Coins, 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 coins. Coins. That name again is Mr. Coin. Right, and finally, in the sport, captain, leader, legend, Kane. I've worked my whole life for this. I know I'm good enough. Striker is more than goals with huge Three Lions responsibilities. And Southgate. Now Harry can go on to charge, just like Shearer did in '96. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, so there you go. That was the Sun. Give me your scores for the Sun as I do the roll call. Today's speed run will be through the Guardian. Person in the room, how quickly can I get through the Guardian? 3 minutes.
I don't know. Maybe.
3 minutes is good. Fine. Mark Canosis says -5 beautiful but dribbly Newfoundlands for the Sun. Fry Bentos says they're more of a carriage clock guy. I am, of course, a Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. SK the Crusader has a stream tonight. I'm sure he will tell you about that in the chat now. Also in the mod squad alongside SK is the ever excellent Guybrush Tweet Good, working from home this week, it seems. Also in the chat, another TT viewer, Aiton, valued subscriber, Bad Motivator, Battle Whisk, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Farage's Fucked Face, Ferrosol, Friar Bentos, Ged Station. Ged Station, thank you for your comment on the YouTubes. Much appreciated. Grilling Pirate Pete is tuning in from the US. Mark Canosis is here. The stalwart of the most disturbing chat comments. Maureen Skell is here. Scoop Dreams, good to see you. Slinkermeyer, excellent as ever. Do check out her Instagram where there are some phenomenal bits of her art being posted. Her excellent photography. Studying Fangirl, do check out her streams last night on Popes was excellent. The Fishmeister General Yuan is here, and last but not least, Zautar is in the room. Guybrush Tweet Good, working in as many inverted commas as possible. In tonight's stream, SK will be back from 6:30, making Iberia say the Shahada in Crusader Kings 3. Also, people need to send him videos for the YouTube zone. SK, I will send you something after the show. Right, let's do the speed run through The Guardian. The Guardian in 3 minutes or less. Let's hope for less. Hey, Google, set timer for 3 minutes.
Sure, 3 minutes, starting now.
Okay, front page of The Guardian. The Good Life. Meet the families living off the land. It's allotments, but for posh people. Top of the page, Wimbledon Murray rolls back years in late-night thriller. Top story, fears over mass events after 1,300 travelling Scotland fans get COVID. There's a picture from the, what they're calling the Heat Dome, which is currently over Western Calendar in the northwestern states of the US. It's climate change in action. 46.6 degrees C in Portland, Oregon, yesterday. And on the right-hand side of the page, GPs giving out second jabs after only 3 weeks. Inside, Ronaldo tops league of Instagram influencers with $1.6 million per post. Number 10 have put up a rainbow arch outside Number 10. Absolutely just pride washing at its worst. Nick Grimshaw is leaving Radio 1, as we've already said. Raheem Sterling's old school coach says he knew Sterling would be a star. More news on the disgusting VIP access scheme. Email suggests VIP access for test kit offers. Bids from politically elected firms to provide COVID-19 tests in Britain were designated as fast track. GB's giving out second jabs after just 3 weeks, we saw on the front. V&A East boss pledges to get on his bike to encourage young Londoners to visit. Hot Rocks give new hope for energy in Cornwall. Galloway, veteran campaigner accused of stoking division to win votes. No shit. Hairspray gets 4 stars. That's on at the Coliseum in London. He forged away for many black British film stars and directors. Menelik Shabazz has died aged 67. In the world news, 2 Serbian secret police chiefs have been jailed over atrocities in Bosnia. Hong Kong court should reflect the will of China, says a senior official there. Rana Mitter says in the comment section, history is a propaganda tool for China's communists. Is it not for the UK and America as well? Poland's LGBTQ protests offer hope in the darkness, say 2 Polish writers. One is Olga Tokarczuk, the writer and laureate of the 2018 Nobel Prize in Literature, and Agnieszka Holland is a film director and Academy Award nominee. The long read is 60 years of climate warnings, and we're still not listening. Martin Kettle says a devolution reset is needed to save the UK. In the obituaries, Jessica Morris, campaigner for better treatments for people with brain cancer. Myanmar's military regime has released more than 2,000 protesters and journalists. What is it up to? It's never normally anything good. And in the sport, Harry's game. Kane ready for his Euro 2020 liftoff, says Southgate. Murray marches on. Scott puts centre court faithful through tense 5-set thriller. That is The Guardian in 3 minutes. Boom. New PB. Slinkermeyer, history is propaganda for the victories of victors often. Yes, professional posting is disgusting. It should be an amateur-only task. Raheem Sterling's old school bisexual pride couch. Yeah, nailed it. Okay, so I won't ask you to give me scores for The Guardian because we went through it so fast. Suffice to say, it's sort of standard Guardian fare. For me, it's a 0 at best, maybe a -10. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Slinker. Right, so we're going to move on to the Times before we clatter in, as we always do, to the Daily Mail last. Bad motivator rates The Guardian MI out of 5. Right, front page of the Times, top of the shop. Family truce, Robert Lacey on a royal reunion. The papers made up the feud, and now the papers are making up the reconciliation. On the right-hand side, a really weird story about Prince George wearing a jacket and tie. Like, just stop talking about children that aren't your own. Top of the page, Rayner supporters prepare leadership challenge to Starmer. Oh, this is going to be a glorious, disgusting mess as they lose Batley and Spen today. They're now saying, oh, we might just edge it. I bet they don't. On the right-hand side, raise Rome's roof. England's expat football fans are told. Remember, if you're an English person who lives in another country, you're an expat. If you're of any other nationality, you're an immigrant. Main story, get COVID and flu jab in each arm from autumn. Just stick me with all of the vaccines. Slinkermeyer, exactly, it's a child. They do not know. On page 3, Harry drops in for a surprise visit to Children's Charity Awards. Diana's statue to reunite her sons. Parasites in new malaria vaccine boost jab effectiveness to 100%. An experimental malaria vaccine has been showed highly encouraging results that could kickstart the stalled global effort to tackle the disease. The best results came when the vaccine developed by the American company Sanaria was combined with a decades-old anti-malarial medicine called chloroquine. The results are especially striking, researchers said, because these volunteers have been directly exposed to a South American strain or variant of the malarian parasite that was genetically distant from the African strain that was included in the vaccine. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, unironically give me more vaccines. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Ukraine's manager has Italy's heart. When the England players take to the field in the quarter-final showdown in Rome on Saturday, they might find that the Italian fans are supporting their rivals, Ukraine. Yeah, not just for this reason. The alliance will be down to one man, Andriy Shevchenko, the Ukrainian team manager, who is a hero to many in Italy. Shevchenko, 44, had the best part of his illustrious playing career in Italy, where he scored 127 goals in 208 appearances for AC Milan over 7 seasons from 1999. His time in Italy was a formative part of his life. He is fluent in his Italian and is reported to speak Italian at home with his wife, Kristen Pazic, the model with whom he has 4 sons. Shevchenko remains well connected in Italy. Silvio Berlusconi, the former Prime Minister and AC Milan owner, is the godfather to his first son, Jordan, born in Milan in 2004. Imagine having Silvio Berlusconi as your godfather. In Germany, there's disappointment, obviously. Tuesday's defeat to England has prompted a festival of the country's second favourite national sport, self-criticism. Bild, Germany's best-selling newspaper, lamented a bit of failure in our stadium at Wembley, where Germany has had an outstanding record in 55 years since the 1966 World Cup final. Everything's off, we're out, it said. While most of the German press acknowledged that the national side had been narrowly outplayed, several of its stars were hauled over the coals. Joachim Low, 61, the departing Germany coach, was particularly criticised after 15 years at the helm, nearly as long as Angela Merkel has been Chancellor. Bild said that keeping Low on after Germany's first-round exit at the 2018 World Cup was an act of self-deceit. It lambasted his tactical mistakes against England, including placing players such as Joshua Kimmel and Thomas Müller out of their preferred positions and starting with 3 centre-backs rather than a back 4. The Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung agreed. Long before his last game, the national coach was no longer a man who could make a difference. Other newspapers were almost unanimously in the opinion that Germany had not deserved to progress beyond the last 16. It's a bitter and disillusioning end for us all of us, Die Welt said. Der Spiegel concurred but had little praise for the victors. It said the England team were at best only a little less short on passion, ideas and will to win. Agreed. Heiko Maas, the German foreign minister, had bet his British counterpart Dominic Raab a crate of beer that Germany would win. He vowed to honour the wager. Labour doesn't even get their entire membership as voters. I can see that happening. Shop Lib Dem win. Banter outcome is they both lose their deposit. Jeb takes Batley and Spen. Thank you for subscribing, Rendlent Thought. Much appreciated. Ministers plan quarantine-free travel for double vaccinated. Schools to burst out of bubbles. Policy on July 19th. Scrapping daily infections figure would look dodgy. Ian Duncan Smith has said that they should drop it, but others have said it would be a very bad idea. Jaw-dropping death rate among poor. COVID-19 death rates are a quarter higher in Greater Manchester and the rest of England, according to a report that lays bare the stark impact of deprivation during the pandemic. During the pandemic? Fuck me. Dog breeder hid gun from police before killing wife. It's appalling. Stalker rider's death to be investigated. Stalked rider's death to be investigated fearlessly, vows coroner. We'll believe that when we see it. Brexit sausage row on the back burner as Brussels extends truce. Brighton cat killer has been found guilty of stabbing a large number of cats. He stabbed at least 16 pet cats and possibly more, killed 9, 7 that he left for dead, survived. He was tried in his absence after failing to appear at court. Police detained him in Brighton on Monday night after a tip-off from a member of the public who saw him drinking and behaving oddly in a park. This development was kept secret from the jury, which took 3 hours to find him guilty. He will be sentenced at a later date when doctors have assessed his physical and mental state. He faces a jail term. Ashcroft's ex-partner has been freed after a stranger put up bail. Belize is a weird place. Dr. Fessy, the fact that IDS has the audacity to open his mouth astounds me. Me too. The Methodist Church has become the largest religious denomination in Britain to back same-sex marriage after a historic vote to allow gay couples to wed in church. This is interesting to me in terms of where the Times decides to place stories. For me, I'm just a journalist. What would I know? I'd put this story much higher up in the book. Johnson and others in cabinet using encrypted messages app. More than a third of Boris Johnson's cabinet have downloaded an encrypted messaging service in which conversation can be made to disappear. This is Signal. At least 9 of them, including the Prime Minister, have a Signal account, a privacy-focused messaging app linked to their phone numbers. One of its main features that allows users to set messages to be wiped automatically. The Times understands that the action against the government for failing to ban use of apps to conduct government business is to start next week. The revelations about senior ministers' use of Signal will inflame concerns about whether official government business is being conducted on personal messaging services. It is. We know it is. Fucking Cummings keeps putting out the WhatsApp messages. Of course it's being done on these apps. And why is it being done on these apps? Because they're very hard to prove that they exist, that the groups on them exist. And with Signal, very hard to know that they existed at all because you can just use self-deleting messages. Something that the ICO said months and months and months ago it shouldn't be happening. And what's more, the ICO ruled after Cummings and Gove were found to be using Gmail accounts when they were at the Department for Education. That minister should not be doing that. And then it was a flagrant breach of the rules, but they're still being found doing it. They just, you're right. Guy Bruce, no, they never would. It's against the rules. Dr. Fessy agreed. These writers must think we're dense. Like, it's what I keep referring to as tactical ignorance. The Prime Minister has said vaccines are more important than Matt Hancock's affair. And that story of Boris Johnson absolutely shitting himself during PMQs is also on page 17 of the Times. Curious that it's so deep in the paper. On page 19, Asda spooks its rivals with 1-hour delivery for all groceries. This stuff is dangerous and pernicious. We're just saying, oh yeah, brilliant, 1-hour deliveries. Already, delivery drivers working for all different companies are under incredible, horrific pressure, with very little, with breaks that they're meant to get not being given in flagrant abuse of the laws. But sure, let's have 1-hour grocery deliveries. Great, let's encourage that stuff. Dr. Fexy, tactical ignorance. Yes, nailed it. Can I use this in my everyday vocabulary for now? Guybrush Threepgood. It's a good description. I mean, it's a shifty practice. Yeah, exactly. Crisis talks over future of tank after troops suffer hearing loss. Urgent talks are being held over the future of the Army's new light tank as it emerged that more than 20 soldiers suffered hearing loss after trials. Again, this is just... Where is this? Page 20. Do you think the fact that that once again, millions and millions of pounds that could have been spent on things that we need, like feeding the poor, are being spent on military equipment that doesn't work? And this happens time and time again. You've got to look at the SA-80, for instance. A weapon that was made and then didn't work for years in wet or sandy conditions. Dr. Festi, these things are put out with much care or mentioned for the drivers. And this is about the 1 hour deliveries. And some, if not most drivers will take up extra to try and make ends meet despite being under so much pressure. Renland thought the idea of tactical ignorance has been written about by Jason Stanley, how fascism works, how propaganda works for a while now. I'm not saying I invented it. It's just I'm saying I've talked about it quite a lot in the context of the British media particularly. But yes, thank you for that reference. That's worth making. Friar Bentos, MOD is a black hole for taxpayer money. It is, and as in the US, it's all about pork barrel deals for parts of the country and military contractors who are then donors to the major political parties. Both the Tories and Labour take a good chunk of money from the military. Thank you, Random Thought. Absolutely agree. Slinker tactical ignorance feels like systematic sea lioning. Great. Yu-Gi-Oh! But Mick, we need the military hardware that doesn't work. It's the only thing that the government is allowed to be involved in. Hairspray gets 5 stars. Anna Pasternak has accused a publisher of bullying after a court hearing into her claim that another writer lifted sections from her book about the mistress of her great-uncle Boris Pasternak, the author of Dr. Zhivago. Pasternak, 53, alleges that parts of her 2016 non-fiction book, Lara, the Untold Love Story, and the inspiration for Dr. Zhivago appeared in Lara Prescott's 2019 book, The Secrets We Kept. Yesterday, Master K, sitting as a judge at the High Court, said the $1.2 million legal costs of Prescott's publisher, Penguin Random House, were too high and that she should cut them at a hearing set for next week. Pasternak said, "I've always felt that Laura Prescott and Penguin Random House were trying to force me out of dispute by bullying me with checkbook litigation and by unnecessarily inflating the cost of the dispute. The full case will be heard next year. The publisher denies plagiarism and breach of contract." Dr. Festi, I wish HMRC wouldn't show those breakdowns of where your tax money goes. I see red at how big the slice is that goes to the military. Agreed. Guybrush Tweetgood, I still don't think I've seen anything more insane for saber rattling than whenever Trident comes up. Yeah. Okay, David Aronovich says, England is stuck and the Union will pay for it. Oh, this is demented as usual. It's good to win a big football match, but was ever a nation more stuck than England? In the run-up to Tuesday night's historic, monumental, epoch-making victory over the Germans, something that struck me was the way that English commentators crouched the game as psychically critical. The German blah blah blah. To me, the rhetorical overkill associated with the game, not the final, was a metaphor for a nation that, in its understanding of itself, is unable to progress. Well, if anyone knows about not being able to progress, it's David Aronovich, a man who is still trying to deal with the fact that his parents were communists. Laura Freeman writes what seems like a reasonable column, but is actually pretty disgusting in its underlying implications. She writes, all this talk of well-being is getting stressful. Mental health deserves public attention, but we're in danger of losing sight of simple pleasures. Seeing more and more of this, a kind of cultural counterattack against support and talking about mental health issues, even as the government still underfunds and under-resources mental health support. SK the Crusader, I dealt with the fact my parents are communists by simply being a communist. It's a good solution. Friar Bentos, Jeremy Vine said England winning had brought the UK together, so don't worry, Dave. Jesus Christ. Renland thought, can we just all agree that we'd all ruin ourselves pulling off that stretch playing tennis? Yes, I definitely would. David, I'm buying these fine leather jackets, Aronovich. I know, after that happened, he should have just withdrawn from public discourse entirely. James Kirkup says, Brexit Britain is relaxed about EU immigration. Is that right? On page 27, Ian Martin, who is awful, says, picking winners will give Britain an edge. Kwasi Kwarteng's post-Brexit rules on state aid can shape a high-tech and green economy, but only if they are used wisely. The notion that we weren't allowed to use state aid before we left the European Union is a complete fucking lie. Sabine Mepstead writes, In response to Lord Pearson of Rannoch's question as to whether I would prefer, were I a deer, to be shot stone dead by a bullet from a modern rifle or pulled down by wolves, I would very much prefer to live my life in a forest to a natural old age to become a magnificent stag, as nature intended. Uncritical support for Sabine Mepsted's desire to become a magnificent stag. Joan Johnson of Finchampstead, Berkshire says, Sir, it's a well-known fact that men don't read books by women. Forcing young men to read books by women will further disadvantage young white working-class boys who aren't great readers. It's difficult to be fair to everyone. Shut!
Yeah, those boys all hated Harry Potter.
Shut the fuck up! No, it's not. We can teach boys to see the value of reading books by all kinds of people if we want to. You don't just go, oh, it's a fact. It's a fact. Boys don't read books by women, so fuck it. Fuck it. Just give them Action Man comics and just leave it at that. Get to fuck. Right. I don't, I can't read any more of the letters. It's a well-known fact. Well-known fact. No boys read Harry Potter. None. Hello, Red Tick Seed. How you doing? You go. Remind me what the world's most popular teen fiction series is. Yeah. Randall thought. Try using Magnificent Stag at the pub to pick up a date and see how that goes. Dr. Fest, it's okay, mate. You've tolerated more than I ever could. Yeah. Okay, time for the birthdays. Let's see if anyone worthy of a happy birthday is in here. Carl Lewis, the athlete, yeah, okay, is 60. Pamela Anderson is 54. Dan Aykroyd, Blues Brothers, is nice, 69. I'm surprised he's that young. Scott Benton, the Conservative MP for Blackpool South, is 34. Genevieve Bujold is 79. Leslie Caron, the actress known for Gigi, 1958, is 90. Rosie Duffield, boo, is 50. Malcolm Elliott is 60. John Ellis, the theoretical physicist, Clerk Maxwell Professor of Theoretical Physics, King's College London, is 75. Sir Vernon Ellis, the co-chairman of Britain Peers Foundation, British Council until 2016, is 74. Trevor Eve, the actor, known for Waking the Dead, amongst other things, is 70. Ian Ferguson, chairman of Crest Nicholson House Builders, 66. Carl Fogarty is 56. Professor Dame Julia Goodfellow, molecular biologist and president of the Royal Society of Biology and the chairwoman of Public Health England, is 70. Debbie Harry, very special happy birthday to her, is 76. Dame Julia Higgins, the polymer scientist and emeritus professor and senior research investigator at Imperial College London, president of the Institute of Physics until 2019, is 79. Mark Hunter, the rower who won Olympic gold in 2008, is 43. Professor Sir David Lane, the scientist involved in discovering the cancer gene, is 69. Nice. Li Keqiang, Premier of the People's Republic of China, is 66. Sir John Lowe, the Chief Executive of Charities Aid Foundation until 2020, is 68. Jean Marsh, the actress and co-creator of Upstairs Downstairs, is 87. Victoria Miro, the director of the Victoria Miro Galleries, London, is 76. Daniel Ricciardo, the racing driver for McLaren, is 32. Gary Schofield, the rugby league player, is 56. Leah Sado, the actress known for Spectre and other things, is 36. Warren Smith, Lord Lieutenant of Greater Manchester, is 74. Twyla Tharp, the dancer and choreographer, is 80. Liv Tyler, the actress, is 44. On this day in 1937, Britain implemented the 999 number for emergency services, the first of its kind in the world. And the last word today goes to Syd Barrett in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine from December 1971. That's all I wanted to do as a kid, play a guitar properly and jump around, but too many people got in the way. Rendland Thought says, Dan Aykroyd is an asshole in person. I've dealt with him for about 80 or so miserable hours in my life. Fuck that guy. Ghostbusters and Spies Like Us are exceptions to his shitty behaviour. I know he's obsessed with crystal skulls, isn't he? Rendland, why did you end up dealing with him so much? Mark Gnosis, Debbie Harry, 76 and still absurdly beautiful. Slinkermeyer, happy birthday, Debbie Harry. Mark Gnosis, poor Sid. Yeah, when I lived in Cambridge, I worked a bit on Cherry Hinton Road, and he was still around then, and occasionally you would see him around, but luckily most people let him be, which was good. More than 100 people have died in the blistering Canadian heat wave. Really disgusting news as Bill Cosby walks free after only 3 years for sex assault. This is to do basically with a ridiculous and horrific agreement made by a previous prosecutor, which prevented him from being charged in the case. Renland Thought says, my roommate ran a vodka bar around the corner from our loft. Spirits are my main industry, so he made me deal with him for free because he hated Dan too. Okay. Tycoon's wife fined for driving test scam. The wife of one of France's top media tycoons was fined €15,000 for paying another woman to take her driving test. Jane Lagardère, 30, a model whose 60-year-old husband, Arnaud, owns the Hachette publishing house, was convicted of corruption with 8 others, including the couple's former personal guard, who was ordered to carry out the scam. Well, given that her husband is worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of euros, that 15,000 is really going to make a dent. In the business, Apple is not bending on flexible working. There's a lot of stuff about that. Dixons have had a sales boom during the pandemic. Regulators will struggle to police technology giants until laws are rewritten, says Simon Duke. Yeah, we've been saying that for a long time. Stagecoach believes that more people are going to be taking the bus. Cadigans, the vast real estate landlords, have lost about £800 million this year. Great news. Krispy Kreme is returning to the stock market today under the stock ticker symbol DNOT. There you go. Coin news. Coins. It's another Diana coin. It's the world's first gold Diana coin. Yours for just £69. And in the obituaries, Donald Rumsfeld, may he burn. Clive Richard, shrewd venture capitalist. So yeah, no good obits today. Coins. And in the sport, now goals will flow for Kane, says Southgate. Will they? Sancho to join United in days. Manchester United are set to announce the £73 million signing of Jadon Sancho in the next 48 hours. And Nuno Espirito Santo is the new manager of Spurs. That is the Times. Give me your scores. Renland Thought says, my first stumble into this channel was a coins magazine. I remember saying I don't know anything about coins, but I can't turn away. Yeah, it was a Coin Collector magazine in the magazine special. Yeah, they're just jinxing it heavily. The coach is effectively the inferior public transport. Agreed. Dr. Festi says, landlords losing anything gives me life. Redland Thought, still on Dan Aykroyd, says, imagine being the guy about to tell the celebrity vodka owner no on a ridiculous number of cases anyway. And then he says, are all your bartenders minorities based on one bartender setting up before my roommate's bar opened? Oh my. Fuck off, Dan Aykroyd. Zautar, I love how anything punished by a fine becomes effectively legal if you're original. Yes, well, yeah. Laws which are enforced with fines are effectively only laws on the are attacks on the poor. Slinkermeyer gives the Times a double negative nice, a triple negative nice from Red Tixie, and a double negative nice from Dr. Festi. And Guybrush Tweetgood says coinfucker.biz. I'm going to be registering that after the show. And finally, we reach the Daily Mail for our last paper of the day. Gonna speed through this, as most of the stories we've already covered, but we'll look at our usual good stuff. Okay. Right, front page. Harry's back and bonding with Wills over football. Booster jabs in September for over 50s. We covered that. And more slippery tennis. Inside, they talk about the flying car, winging it. Car turns into plane in 2 minutes. It's ridiculous. Wills and Harry chat about England win is the claim, pages 4 and 5. And there's a breakdown of what flowers are in the floral tribute to Princess Diana. On page 7, TV stars accused as horrified as he's let out on technicality. Cosby walks free after just 2 years in jail. Jodie Turner-Smith, who plays Anne Boleyn in the TV show, has worn a dress, so they've made a big deal of that. Andy Murray the Brave, he battled to victory in 5-set thriller. We Can Unmask from July 19th is the briefing they've had. Hancock leak was political. Anti-lockdown entrepreneur offers images to journalists 5 days earlier. Yes, it's Richard Tice. It's Richard Tice. So she was all coy about this in her Spectator article, but yeah, it turns out that the anti-lockdown entrepreneur that Isabel Oakeshott was hinting about in her Spectator piece this morning, claiming that she had the story first but didn't believe it, was Richard Tice. Not just a contact, but her fucking partner. Of course it was political. We all knew it was political. And it turned out to be very beneficial for Johnson, who wanted him out. Dick Tice, well, that's pretty much his name. Britain's turned away from jets after the island decides it won't accept NHS app as proof of jabs. That's in Malta. And the Daily Mail runs the same picture of 3 blonde women visiting Ibiza. Diana's last birthday, writes Richard Kay, a man who has squeezed the very juice out of every moment he ever spent with Princess Diana. Page 23, expats in scramble for England tickets. You mean immigrants that to Italy. The dream team who built Raheem. The surrogate soccer parents who cared for him when his dazzling talent took him far from home. The mother who worked tirelessly to pay for his air ticket from Jamaica after 3 sensational England goals. The story of blah, blah, blah. And of course they make this story of black success about white people who are involved. Starmer, I won't quit even if Labour loses poll, writes Daniel Martin, the policy editor. And yeah, no shit. He may not have the choice. The Blue Boy Who Blew a Fortune. It's the world's most valuable painting, mourned by Britons when it's sold abroad. Now as it returns home, revealed the mesmerising story behind Gainsborough's masterpiece. Reveal, i.e. you rip off a load of stuff from books that wrote about it before. Socialite was thrown to the wolves after Belize's death is the way they're framing that story now. On this day, July 1st, on this day in 1967, the Daily Mail wrote, 10,000 fans, mostly girls, started screaming and stamping last night when the Monkees opened their British tour at the Empire Pool Wembley with I'm a Believer. The Mail's Douglas Marlborough writes, they were good pop entertainment, but an average pop group. I'm still not a believer. And on July 1st, 1995, the Daily Mail wrote, Lana Turner, whose film career was overshadowed by scandal, has died of throat cancer aged 75. The blonde bombshell was discovered at a soda fountain as a teenager and became the Sweater Girl, a pit-up favourite. She had 7 husbands and one of her affairs ended in violent death. Happy birthday to Leslie Caron, who's 90, France's first female Hollywood star. She danced with Gene Kelly in An American in Paris. And also to Missy Elliott, who is 50. Last year, she was ranked as the 5th greatest music video artist of all time, ahead of David Bowie and Lady Gaga. Also born on this day, Charles Lawton died 1962, born 1899, known for many things. He's an actor, lots of stuff. And Dame Olivia de Havilland, who died last year and was born in 1916. Tokyo-born British actress, won Oscars for To Each His Own and The Heiress, but is best remembered for starring in Gone with the Wind. She had a lifelong feud with her sister, actress Joan Fontaine, who said, I married first, won the Oscar before Olivia did, and if I die first, she'll undoubtedly be livid because I beat her to it. On July 1st in 1977, Victoria Wade became the last British woman to date to win the ladies' singles at Wimbledon. And in 2004, double Oscar winner Marlon Brando died aged 80 on this day. Quote of the day comes from Isaac Asimov. The first law of dietetics seems to be, if it tastes good, it's bad for you. Joke of the day. What does a clock do when it's hungry? It goes back 4 seconds. Mark Canone says, heartwarming news that won't be in any of the papers. The WI magazine has its first trans cover start. Fantastic. That's great news. On the cover of Female magazine, TV porn, no. Love Island is the fearless youth I wish I'd had, writes Liz Jones. On page 37, Jenny Johnson says, the other side of reality TV idol by a former star. A black female contestant is the last to be picked by the men. Former Islander turned author Yewande Biala asks, when will the show become truly inclusive? Possibly never. In the big question, they ask, is 12 too young to be taught pelvic floor exercises? Tanith Carey says, no, keeping our daughters ignorant will have a price. Helena Frith Powell says, why add to the stress young girls already feel? On the front cover of the Euros verdict, how Raheem turned the tide. It's a cool picture of Raheem Sterling playing, what's it called? Water polo, which is fun. Welcome to the club. No wife wants to join, writes Rosie Green, who constantly writes about her own divorce and has decided to make things even harder for Martha Hancock. Jenny Murray says, Diana would have given her boys a jolly good talking to. Oh, shut up. Would you swallow paying £130 for posh toothpaste? No, I wouldn't. I dream about Mum's killer being caught, writes Lauren Bell, who was just 9 when her mother Penny Bell was stabbed 50 times in her Jaguar. 30 years on, she's estranged from her father, had a breakdown, is still determined to catch the monster who ruined her life. Jesus. In the date, Shelley, 58, goes on a date with Steve, 57. They both give each other 8 out of 10, and they enjoyed it. In the TV, they also want you to watch Big Dog Britain, and the promo photo for it is extremely cute. Okay, so the first WI cover star is called Petra Wenham. Congratulations to her. In the cartoons, Garfield just ate Odie's food. In Chloe and Co., Chloe is drinking and talking to the guy with the unfortunate ponytail. And in Fred Bassett's on a trip in the car. Right, in the letter, straight to the point, Vivian Parker often writes in and says, Dominic Cummings was protecting his family and Matt Hancock was betraying his. David Edwards writes, I guess the news about Nissan's new giant job-creating battery factory caused despair at The Guardian. Janet Price writes, to those who say Matt Hancock broke the rules, why shouldn't I? My old mum would have said, would you jump off a bridge if he did it? Valerie Lawrenson says, welcome back, Sajid. We've missed you. Colin Hainsbury of Beaconsfield Bucks says, after the new Delta variant, will the next ones be called EasyJet and Flybe? Rod Williams says, Hancock and Johnson. 1 down, 1 to go. Helen Penny says, why does Wimbledon have to take the 2 main BBC channels all day? Keith Miller says, shame on the government if they think the Hancock affair can be quietly forgotten about. I, for one, am an elephant with a vote. My God, this elephant can also write into the paper. John Rigby says, Dame Joan Collins summed up perfectly what we think of the COVID management debacle in the UK. Well done, Dame Joan. And Gay French writes, some people are born great, some achieve greatness, and some are born with their brains in their white fronts. Oh, God. Right, okay, I'm not going to read the poem today. It's genuinely too bad to read. Today's recipe is halloumi hash. It looks fine, I guess. Still trying to get you to go on cruises, of course. Still trying to get you to buy mattresses, electrical garage doors. They also try and sell you the other Diana coin. Yours for just $9.99. The photographic Diana coin. Coins. In the business, Footy boosts Dixon's car phone, and they include the picture of Boris Johnson pretending to like football. And in the sport, Magic Murray, Andy fights back to win Late Night Classic, and it's all changed. Gareth to tinker with team and formation for Ukraine. Sancho to seal £73 million United deal. That is today's Daily Mail. For me, it's a quadruple negative nice. Minus 69, 69, 69, 69. Yu-Gi-Oh! Gives that 3 Diana coins. Guybrush tweet good. Says 3 Diana coins. Ged Station chucking in a Ged coin. Slinkermeyer in with the quadruple negative nice. Same from Dr. Festi. Thank you for joining me today on this, the Thursday episode of The Paper Thing with me, The Broken Bottle Boy. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider contributing to the newspaper fund. That really does help keep the show going, basically. Helps me keep buying papers and funding the show and making sure that the show actually runs at a small, doesn't run at a loss, basically. So that's paypal.me/Conquest the Useless. The other thing you can do is, if you are not yet a subscriber to the newsletter, please consider subscribing for free, and if you like it, upgrading to a paid one, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. Thank you also to people who have subscribed to the show. Thank you especially to Redolent Thought for subscribing and for gifting gifting 2 subs so far, 1 to Yu-Gi-Oh! And 1 to Auntie Dange. Very much appreciate that too. Mark Kenosis is going to miss tomorrow, so my curse phrases are boggling handjob and turf with the same-sex knuckle tattoos. Yes, thank you very much for that, Randall. I thought that was really good. Minus 69 from Mark Kenosis. Minus 69 gay French is Mark Kenosis' score for the Daily Mail. And finally, if you are not yet a member of the Discord, do join it. Many exciting and random things happen there, and it's a good place for chatting about other cursed articles. Here is the link for that if you want to join the Discord. Many people in the chat are already members. Why not be one too? See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Mark, have a good day, whatever you're doing. I'll see you Monday, but everyone else, I'll see you at 1 p.m. tomorrow for our Friday show, which is a magazine special. Oh, yes.